Coming up on Verse, Chorus, Verse. Yeah, Spotify is evil, but my goodness, is it so fun. That's next. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second annual Evil Spotify Awards. Hi, I'm DL. How are you? I hope you're doing well. I am here on my own, but I assure you, you will hear Rachel and Evil's voices eventually. It's not just me tonight, it's all of us. And we are continuing our beautiful tradition, a tradition unlike any other. It is the Spotify Awards. That's right. Every year, Spotify comes out with their Wrapped, where we all get told what we listen to, and then we don't believe what we're told, and then we bitch about it. Well, that's kind of what this is. What we do is Evil, Rachel, and we trade Spotify Wraps. We trade our top 2024 playlist. We listen to it. We look at it. We see what we think. We talk about our own. I don't need to talk about Spotify, right? We don't need to do that. We know. We've talked about it plenty. You guys know. We know. It's just one of those things that we use and then we bitch about using, and that's how it is. But talking about Wrapped, it's just oh so fun. It's official. I've started studying for season 5. I'm very excited. The first band we're covering, I'm very into, so this is going to be fun. I don't know about the other two. I don't know if they can handle what I'm putting down on those, but they're going to be okay. They're going to live through it. Spotify, my Spotify is not that surprising. We'll talk about that. Their Spotify is not that surprising. We'll talk about that, but there is some fun stuff that we can get into. Hopefully the holidays went well for you all. I am just going to bust right into this because this kind of tends to go by fast on these ones with all three of us involved. So let's get to the most important part of the night. What are we drinking? Guys, I'm super boring and I apologize. I just apologize, okay? I'm drinking a Coors Light. I'm sorry. It's a Friday. It's my day. It's early, so I don't want to go crazy. You know, we're not even hitting the 5 o'clock mark yet, so I gotta, I don't want to go crazy. I still got some soup to make. But yeah, I'm drinking a Coors Light. The mountains are blue. It's cold as the Rockies. It's tasting pretty good. It's been a good year. I actually got a lot of really positive feedback on my top 5 best albums of the year. I usually get gripes. I can't believe this is on there and that is on there. This year I got a lot of people, saying, hey, props. I really love this album. Yes, this album's brilliant. Fucking this album rocks. That was fun. That felt good. Felt good to be in the right. Every 5 years. That's the goal. Every 5 years. I guess every 4 years. I'll shoot for it every 4 years, everybody. Who knows what my albums will be this time. I'm also doing something else this year. I'm trying as hard as I can. It's not going to work for when I travel, which is all the time, but when I'm home, I'm going to try not to listen to Spotify to study. I'm going to see how that goes. Obviously, when I'm at work and when I'm traveling, you just can't get around. I mean, that's a lot. You can get it around using Spotify, but I'm still going to. But I mean, even when we do our album exchanges, I'm going to try as hard as I can to get the albums that Evil and Rachel are going to get me as early as I can so that I can actually buy the product. Even if it's on my phone, I just feel better buying it. If it's a big band, I know that's kind of stupid, especially when it's with a big label, but I don't care. It'll make me feel better about myself. It'll give me this false sense of being better than other people. And that's what we all need to survive, right? That said, lots of Spotify. We need it. We need it to survive, especially on a music podcast. It's just needed. And so while my hours weren't big this year, I honestly don't remember what it was. It wasn't huge. I didn't have a ton. I listened to a lot of podcasts on Spotify. But yeah, my numbers weren't that big this year. It wasn't anything crazy. I did listen to a lot of vinyl this year, lots of podcasts. And I'll go through what my top 5 bands were on my Wrapped, all that fun, dumb stuff. And anything else that, I think I had 14,000 minutes or something like that, which is, who knows, who cares? And that's Wrapped. gives you the, how did you change? What did you listen to? How many artists did you listen to? It's all kind of BS. But we're here to talk about the BS. And I want to address a couple things in Evil and Rachel's listening patterns that I think we need to discuss as a podcast and see how we feel about it. And maybe mine too. I don't know. That's what we're doing tonight. Spotify Wrapped in the form of an award ceremony. Cue the music, cue the lights, prompts, cue the applause, seat fillers. Welcome to Evil's Evil. Well, no, what is it? The second annual Evil's Evil Spotify Award. There's multiple awards. We're going to get to it after these messages. Let's talk a little Spotify Wrapped, shall we? I'm not going to go through my whole thing. It's boring. Who cares? I will give you my tops. My top songs were all podcast based. Killanova by Zeal and Ardor. Best song of the year. Dancer by Idols. We all know I love that. Also going through making the promos, the end of the year, editing. I had to listen to that a ton. Try to get the timing down. Of course, Drive and Drive Out by Dave Matthews. We did a dissection of that. Baloo by Elbow. That was one of my first favorite songs of the year. Of course, Tarot, the only one that we didn't really talk about on the pod. Didn't have anything to do with it. Tarot by Alt J, who I think I'll talk about a little bit later in this episode. But yeah, the list is very basic. It's mostly all because of the pod sort of stuff. My top artists, number 5 being Nirvana. This reads so much like a person that's my age. It's not even funny. Number 5, Nirvana, because I love Nirvana. Listened to him a lot just because this year. And because we did a Kurt Cobain talk this year, the whole podcast with Svend got together. We did 3 or 4 episodes on Nirvana Unplugged and the whole Kurt Cobain death since we were covering 1994. Reminded me how much I loved Nirvana and went back to listen to it. Pretty crazy, right? How about Soundgarden? We did the Super Unknown dissection. We did the whole Soundgarden dissection. We talked a lot of Soundgarden, did the dissection, did the Super Unknown dissection, had a listener come on and help us out with that, all that stuff. So no surprise there either. Number 3, Our Lady Peace. Been really fun listening to them a ton. Got to listen to them a lot this year. Did a Our Lady Peace dissection. Got to talk about Spiritual Machines. Got to throw it on that 10 out of 10 wall. Might be a little bit of a controversial choice. I don't care. I actually do think that Clumsy is probably a better album, but hey, we are Lady Peace lovers. Most of us have a very special place in our heart for Spiritual Machines. My number 2, another band we did a dissection of, is Stone Temple Pilots. Of course, we covered Purple, and we all loved that. Rachel and Evil and I. Universal, absolutely love. And, of course, my favorite, talked about it 7, 8, 9 times. It was an oldie and a goodie. I'm back to loving it again. Thanks to Svend and I's conversations. It is Dave Matthews Band. Ignoring the fact that I'm listening to it a lot for the pod. A, I like them again. And B, it's just a really easy album to listen to band to listen to in any environment. It's easy when you're hanging out. It's easy when you're doing yard work. It's easy when you're in the summer, when it's a chill night, when it's your family just hanging out. It's just, Dave Matthews is good for anything. It really is, even though so many people hate him. So yeah, Nirvana, Soundgarden, Stone Temple Pilots, Dave Matthews. I mean, it's about as my age as you can get, right? Those are my Spotify Wrapped bands. I'll talk about my Spotify Wrapped a little more. Here we have the Wait What Award. That'll start it. The Wait What? That's better. Wait, what? Song that surprised me to see on my playlist. I'll say it. It's boring, but absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing surprised me. Look, I use Spotify to study for the pod, and that's what you got off of that. So I'm not saying the algorithm is wrong at all. I don't know. We had some weird stuff, but what would make sense and what does make sense through it all is my playlist, because it is just all studying for the pod, and that's what you get. It'd be interesting to do a little more study, to try to get Evil to study and see how the algorithm works. If it's just specific months, if it's just specific sections of the years. Rachel had the most wait what reaction on the playlist of all this, but I do kind of agree with her that the list, as much as everybody's playlist makes sense, I'd still be interested to hear how many times we listen to certain songs on here. Because while it all makes absolute sense for my playlist and, Hook by Blues Traveler, there's some Neil Young, there's all the music from the song dissections that we did, all the Evil, Albatross, and Lifer by Down, the ones that he picked for our song dissections. There's a lot of Sand for Mean, Outcast. I did some stuff on Outcast last year with another pod. All of it makes sense. If whatever it is, the 50 songs or 100 songs, I wonder if it's random. I don't think it is, because my top 5 makes sense that I listen to them by far the most. But you have songs on here that I don't think I listen to more than once or twice. But I could be wrong, maybe misremembering. But the list itself, there's absolutely, literally not one surprise on this for me. Sorry, not one. It's all either podcast stuff or stuff I love. So boring answer, sorry. The Paparazzi Award, is there anything high up that I'm ashamed of? This award named, of course, because I did once have Paparazzi by Lady Gaga on my list. And honestly, I wasn't that mad about it personally, privately. It's kind of catchy. Is there anything high up that I'm ashamed of? I will always be a little bit mildly embarrassed that I do still love Dave Matthews Band. I understand that it's a hard choice to defend because of how sometimes specifically creepy stricken I am by his lyrics. Not really. He's, a little bit of an old white perv. I don't really care about that. It's nothing disgusting. It's mostly just because his lyrics are bad, not just pervy, but bad. And they really are one of those bands where frequently when people talk about how much they don't like them, I get it. So there's nothing high up that I'm ashamed of at all, but I guess there's still a little bit of there of a badge of courage to walk up, stick your chest out and say, yes, I am a Dave Matthews fan. I will not hide in the dark corners of the world anymore. I will go to the gorge and smoke pot with hippies. The Megaphone Award. What one of these songs would I like to tell the world about? Well, my number 5 song of the year, as I said, was Tarot by Alt J. That whole album, An Awesome Wave by Alt J, first off, that song is one of the greatest songs ever. Go listen to it. But that whole album, I've always been an Alt J fan. I don't think I realized how big of a fan I was until about a year or two ago. There's 2 of their albums that are 9 out of 10s for me in An Awesome Wave and Relaxer. We did talk about Relaxer before on the pod. I gave it to Rachel. Alt J would be the one. Anybody out there that hasn't given them a chance, particularly the awesome album Awesome Wave, next time you're in a chill mood, you want to relax, just hang out, try that one out. I'm a big Alt J guy now. I have been this whole year. That was when I'm not listening to anything for the pod, I'm listening to Alt J. Just listen to their An Awesome Wave on record actually just last night. So there we go. In fact, I think it's going to be my picture for this episode. I think it's going to be my vinyl picture. More to come on that. It is. It's actually going to be my Instagram promotion. For those of you that aren't on Instagram that listen, once a week I put a picture of a record that I'm spinning with a drink that I made onto Instagram to kind of promote upcoming episode, and An Awesome Wave is going to be on there. So there we go. That works. This is why I hate the podcast award, the song that would never be on your list if it wasn't for the pod. Now, that award is meant to be kind of like, a bad thing, but this isn't a bad thing. I would say Zeal and Ardor. Zeal and Ardor, I don't think I would have ever gotten into, maybe because I do think a couple of the bigger reviewers that I used to find music from did cover Zeal and Ardor for a while. So I did hear of Zeal and Ardor before the pod, I think. But I'm not sure I would have really given them a true chance if it wasn't for the pod and Evil being on. The other one I'll say is probably Zach Bryan. The whole country connection. Country has gotten much, much better over the last 6 to 7 years, something like that, because of these Jason Isbell, Zach Bryan types. And I would say that I probably would not have. I mean, I have friends that are really into Zach Bryan, but we'll say Zealand Ardor and Zach Bryan. If it wasn't for the pod, I don't think I'd be listening to those two. Let's talk about Evil and Rachel's playlists, shall we? First off, I want to say this. Our Lady Peace on all of our top fives. How much do I love that? Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, for all thy hearts command, right? With all thy sons command, because then it's with glowing hearts we see thee rise. The true north strong and free? Oh, Canada, something. Sorry, Canada. I used to be really good at your anthem. Anyway, how much do we love that Our Lady Peace is on there for all three of us? Because they're rad and they're amazing and everybody should love them. That makes me very happy that so much Our Lady Peace was played thanks to verse, chorus, verse. Should we go person to person or should we just go award by award? Let's just go person. Let's go award by award. The first one I'm going to do is the, wait, what? Award. Anything that surprised you on their playlist. Rachel's it's how little she listens to stuff. Like, I know she studies, but so many of her top songs are, it's a lot of Taylor Swift. It's just a lot of Taylor Swift. I don't know what she listens to and from, like a day to day. I don't know. It just doesn't seem that, I don't know if they listen to a lot of Trevor's stuff or she listens to playlists or the entire playlist in general. I don't know. But she has like songs like Special by Mew are way up on there. And I know she couldn't have listened to that more than twice because she hates Mew. She hated it. She didn't want to cover him. So her list is very, very weird to me. I don't know. Maybe she listens more on like YouTube because she doesn't listen to records either. I don't know. Maybe she just doesn't listen to music. She might hate music. I don't know. Jury's out. For Evil, it's Area 51 by Idols. Again, this is something that makes me question the list. There's no way Evil listened to this more than twice. Now, one of the things that I think happens with Rachel and Evil is I think that when they have to study for the pod, I think there's, like the Friday before, what they'll do is they'll just listen to it a bunch in one day. And what that means is maybe they'll put the album on repeat while they're working or that sort of thing, which means that these songs do get played all the way through 2 or 3 times, but I don't think they're paying attention to. That's what I think. I mean, I do that too, but a song like Area 51 by Idols is not an Evil type song. And it's kind of proof that these playlists are a little bit messed up. Like Future Islands. Evil has like 3 Future Islands songs on his, and he was not a Future Islands guy. I don't think he hated it, but he definitely wasn't into it. And honestly, if I was like, hey, Future Islands, you liked it, right? I guarantee you he would say, I do not remember anything about them at all. I really liked their album from last year. I thought it was great. I think a lot of it I think it just ends up being stuff that you studied, but really nothing surprises me at all on Evil and Rachel's. That we need to just expand their horizons a little bit. The Come On Man Award, is there anything high up that they should be ashamed of? I mean, not really. I haven't, like for Rachel, she has But Daddy, I Love Him way up there, which is just, I mean, there is this weird, I really want to get into the mentality right now of these middle-aged or almost middle-aged women that are so obsessed with Taylor Swift and songs like Daddy, I Love Him. It's really fucking weird. But no, I mean, what's the 50 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. If you don't like Elvis, you're the idiot. Well, everybody likes Taylor Swift. Everybody. So I know that I'm the idiot. There's nothing on her list. I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of. I don't. Evil did have Nicki Minaj on his list, but again, it's the playlist thing. I think he just turned it on while he was working and ignored it. I do love Evil's current shtick, so I'm hoping it doesn't change. His IR monkey, me need metal thing, he is so stuck in his ways right now, though. Everything is just so fucking unearth and As I Lay Dying and then As I Lay Dying and unearth, and he's kind of regressing and he loves it. I actually like it for the pod. I think it's really funny and it's really fun actually. I do hope he doesn't, it's like a black hole where he sucks in so much that eventually he's going to get down to only listening to the same 7 seconds of one unearthed song and that's it. the This Is Why They Hate the Podcast Award, the songs that would never be on their lists. We kind of talked about it already, but like I said, for Rachel, Special by Mew, her entire top 5 artists are, I'd say, would not be on it if it wasn't for the pod, with the exception of Taylor Swift. Good on her for studying stuff she doesn't like. Also, maybe, I don't know, maybe we do too much stuff that she doesn't like, or maybe she doesn't like enough stuff. I don't know. With Evil, there are 4 songs toward the bottom that I noticed, and I'm not even going to read them off because really it speaks more to him. Like I said, he did what he wanted in 2024, and good for him for it. He didn't suffer anything for the pod or for, this or for that. He just listened to Unearth and As I Lay Dying. And I can't hate on him for that. The Nod of Approval Award, the song that you don't really know that's awesome in their mix. Couple things with, you know what? I'll do Evil first. Here's the thing. I could say how much I love how much Our Lady Peace is on his, but there's also this thing that is as tough as I'm being with him on being like this closed-minded metal guy. Here's the thing, and I'm actually just realizing this with the playlist. I think I'm going to give him props because you know what I think it is with Evil with the playlist? You know what he's doing a lot this year? He's listening to a lot of vinyl. He's a record guy now, and he's got the bug bad. He's buying records like crazy. So I think one of the reasons that his playlist is a little skewed, there's some things like Nicki Minaj that probably got one full listen, but it's because he's listening to a lot of vinyl. He's listening to not Spotify sometimes. And so I got to give him props for that. For Rachel, on her playlist, there's a K-Flay song called High Enough, which I'd never heard, which is totally rad. So that would be the big one that I would like, that's now going to be on my playlist. Thank you, Rachel. I hadn't heard it. Awesome. The other thing that I want to give props to Rachel for this year is there is an artist that she pitched when we were doing our end of year best of that I didn't really think much of, but I did listen to her, and it's actually really, really good stuff. It's Suki Waterhouse. She came out with an album in 2024 called Memoir of a Sparkle Muffin. Yes, that's right. Memoir of a Sparkle Muffin. And here's the thing. She had it on her one of the top 10 best albums of the year. And if she would have fought for it, I might have stuck it in the top 10. I went and listened to it. It's really fucking good. She didn't fight for it. She fought for other dumb stuff, but that's okay because then we ended up being able to have more stuff that I like on there. But she had I think OMG was one of her best top songs too, which that song's okay, but that album in general, the Memoir of a Sparkle, is pretty good. So Rachel kind of turned me on to this Suki Waterhouse thing. I'm kind of into it. I am into the Suki. So thank you, Rachel, for that. A nod in approval, if you will. The DL Award, the song on the playlist that is the most DL. For Rachel, it's Special by Mew. Again, wouldn't be on there if it wasn't for me, even though she hates it. And then Blackbird. She's got Blackbird by the Beatles on there. I don't know why. I don't know if it wasn't part of what we studied for the Beatles last year. I don't know if maybe she had heard Beyonce's version and went to go listen to it because we did cover Beyonce's amazing, fantastic album from last year. Oh my God. For Evil, what I like is that it's a reminder that he and I actually have a lot in common. The old STP, all those songs, all the Our Lady Peace, they're very much me, but also very much him. He and I actually do, for as much as we start to bicker on the metal and the soft stuff that the eye rolls that we give each other nowadays, we actually do have a shit ton of musical ground in common. The Rachel Award, the songs that are most like her, well, Taylor Swift is everywhere on her playlist, everywhere. So there's that. And then with Evil, there's that one Nicki Minaj song, and that's literally it. It's like the common, I don't know. It's funny. Evil and Rachel have zero things. They have nothing in common. Nothing. It's perfect for the podcast because of how, if they were not as nice people, they would just talk about how much they hate each other's music all day. They would. With the exception of like I think Billie Eilish is the only common ground artist that they would have on each other's playlist. And some of that early 90s stuff too. The Stone Temple Pilots, Nirvana, Soundgarden. But come on, that's low-hanging fruit. We all love that. The Evil Award, the songs that are most evil. Not much for Rachel. Albatross, the songs that we studied for the lyrical and the one song breakdowns we did, hers were on there because she was good and she studied. For Evil, it's a LOL, like everything on his list. The Leonardo DiCaprio Point in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood Award, song ranking that most impresses me on their mix. Well, again, that Suki Waterhouse, I enjoyed that a lot. That's something for Rachel that really impresses me. There's a lot of Stone Temple Pilots on the top of Rachel's list. Gotta love that. With Evil, Wretched and the Ruinous was his second favorite song of the year, and I love Wretched and the Ruinous. I love that song. It gets lost because Evil loves Unearth so much. I really like Unearth too. I really do. My kind of metal. It's harmony and chord-driven guitar metal that rocks your socks off. And Wretched and the Ruinous has some amazing parts in it. Overall with Evil, you know what I loved seeing way up there? That I don't know when he's listening to it. I don't know if it's how he's kicking off his workouts or he's kicking off his Friday nights. But you know what I loved seeing up there? Thunderstruck. It's just nice to picture a dude getting ready for whatever, turning on some Thunderstruck. A dude or a girl. Sorry. Let's not be sexist in 2025. That's it for me, everybody. Let's see what Rachel and Evil have to say. We'll take a break, I think. I don't know. We'll be right back.
Hello, folks. Here we are once again in the down under. That's Australia. The upside down. Off to a great start here. The in between, the Bermuda Triangle. Season 4 is in the books. Season 5 has not officially started. And once again, I'm talking to myself. One of my least favorite things to do. But I'm here for you guys. This is Evil. Did I say that? I don't remember. What am I drinking? I picked up a bottle of scotch that I intended to give it out as a gift over the holidays. It's a Port Charlotte 10-year heavily peated Islay single malt made by the Bruichladdich distillery. I'm sure I butchered that. You Scots, apologize. I love your whiskey though. It's really good. It's an Islay, if you like Laphroaig, Ardbeg, Lagavulin, you're probably not going to hate this one. I feel like it's pretty boozy. Yeah, it is 50%. It's a 100 proof. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, or in your bong and pound it, or whatever you do with your scotch. I'm just going to sip on it because I've cultivated a very, distinguished persona, which is a bunch of bullshit. So what are we doing? We're talking about our Spotify Wrapped from the previous year. I'm going to be so glad when Spotify goes away someday. Hopefully in the following year or few, the end of the world is upon us and I don't have to do these episodes ever again. Once again, my least favorite. For those of you who've never listened to me on one of these in-between episodes, I just don't care for them. If I had to talk to myself as a podcaster, I wouldn't have a podcast, but I'm going to power through. We're talking about each other's, so DL, myself, Rachel's Spotify Wrapped from 2024. We got some awards and categories. Let's dive in. I'm going to have a little sippy. That's good scotch. So my Spotify Wrapped, not a big shocker here. Lots of metal, lots of Unearth, lots of stuff that I like to listen to. DL would say that I don't really care about the podcast because I only listen to the music that I want to. And I would say that's probably accurate. Let's just jump into the awards. The Wait What Award for me on my playlist, on my Spotify Wrapped playlist. Let's see how many times I can say Spotify Wrapped playlist. My Wait What Award was Stone Temple Pilots' Hazy. If you listen to the 2024 season, we did a 1994 retrospective, and in that was a lot of STP. We did a breakdown of their catalog. I believe we did all of their albums. And for some reason, Hazy from final album with Wayland turned out to be in my Wrapped among many other things. But it kind of stuck out to me as one that I was like, oh, wait, what? So I gave it the Wait What Award. The Paparazzi Award, which is what am I ashamed of in my list that ranked up pretty high. And I mean, the only thing that really, well, it's not the only thing, but it's the thing that qualifies the most is As I Lay Dying's Burden. It was my 1, 2, 3, 4th song. So it actually made my top 5. It's a fucking great track. But if you're not abreast of the shenanigans and drama that is As I Lay Dying, oh my God, I've never seen a band implode quite like this. Tim Lambesis went to prison a few years ago for contracting someone to kill his wife, who happened to be an undercover officer, and served his time. I was hoping that he was rehabilitated. It doesn't look like that's the case. I was super excited for this album because it had a couple of former members of the Mighty Unearth in it, and Ryan Neff doing some awesome vocals, and the band just fell apart because of the drama. I'm sure Tim, he has not grown as a human, it doesn't seem like, but the fucking track rules. So am I embarrassed? Yeah, probably a little bit. Am I going to stop listening to it? No. My Megaphone Award. What song do I want to tell the world about? I'm a simple man. I like my Unearth. I love The Wretched, The Ruinous, their album that came out in 2023. My favorite song of that might be my favorite album ever. My favorite song on that album is Into the Abyss. It's fucking perfect. They were in 2004 on The Oncoming Storm. They put out a track, Zombie Autopilot, that has kind of been the measuring stick for Unearth, and even, you know, maybe for metalcore. It's one of the best metalcore songs of all time. And they've attempted to do songs in that style on subsequent albums here and there. Some really good, some, well, all of them are really good, to be honest. I don't think any of them have quite been at the level of Zombie Autopilot in that style. There's other songs of theirs that I love and I think are actually better, but as that sort of iconic Unearthed song with that, you know, those melodic dual guitars, they've, I think, eclipsed Zombie Autopilot with Into the Abyss. It is one of the fucking best metal songs you can listen to. So yes, I want to tell the world about it. It was number 1 for me. I was in the 0.001% in Spotify's listeners for that song for the year. I probably will continue to be. It's fucking awesome. This Is Why I Hate the Podcast song that it would never in a million years be in my Spotify Wrapped if it wasn't for the podcast. Seriously, what the fuck? Nicki Minaj, Are You Gone Already? Yeah, her terrible album that she came out with in 2024, allegedly a sequel to her debut. Wasn't a big fan. And yeah, made it. We did a quickfire of that album, and somehow that song made it into my Wrapped. I don't believe the algorithm, because I can't have listened to that song more than some other stuff that is way fucking better. So that is my seriously, what the fuck? This is why I hate the podcast. Go Nicki Minaj. Let's dive into DL and Rachel's playlists a little bit. I got some awards for them as well. The Wait What Award for them, and honestly, it really isn't a big surprise because it's one of the songs I gave them in the Break It Down episodes. It's Down's Lifer. I think this song is fucking amazing. That's why I picked it. They didn't think it was as good as it is because they are lacking when it comes to taste in metal, and the riffs, the power of the riffs that compel us all in the metal community. I mean, it shouldn't be a Wait What, because yeah, I did give it to them as a Break It Down. So of course they're going to listen to it quite a bit. But the fact that it showed up in both of their Spotify Wrapped amongst all the other things that are very Rachel and very DL, it is, I think, a Wait What. The Come On Man Award anything high up in their list that they should be ashamed of. I just can't believe so much Zach Bryan is in both of their lists. It's severely disappointing. I have kind of lost faith in humanity. I mean, I did a long time ago. This just reinforces that that faith was useless from the start. Aborted faith, as we say in the industry. I just don't like it. I don't like that music. And both of them had, I think, multiple Zach Bryan tracks in their raps, and I don't like it. They can do better. The next award, this is why they hate the podcast. Songs that couldn't be on their playlist if it wasn't for the podcast. Rachel, it's all of the Mew that showed up in her Wrapped. There's a ton of it. She didn't seem to be that big of a fan of Mew. I like it. I think they're great. Fun, different, quirky. But once again, she was not a huge fan. And then for both of them, I'm going back to Down's Lifer because there's no way that song would be in either of their playlists. Their Spotify Wrapped playlists for 2024. If it wasn't for me shoving it down their throat and showing them what real music sounds like. For the not in approval, these are songs that I'm not really maybe super knowledgeable about, but I look in their playlist and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. So I kind of nod in approval. For DL, it's more than one song. He just had a whole slew of Run the Jewels in his Wrapped, which I thought was cool because I'm not super knowledgeable about Run the Jewels, but I like that music and seeing, we didn't really focus on it. Not that I know of for the pod. So he just listening to them because he likes them. I fucking dig that. And for Rachel, once again, not a single song, but all of the Louise Post stuff. I'm a huge Veruca Salt fan. We talked about Seether, obviously, because of the 1994 retrospective. Great album. And I love their second album as well as Veruca Salt. But we also had Louise Post on the podcast, which I was not a part of because they don't include me in all of the cool stuff. But I kind of wish I was because I was a big fan. I have not had a chance to really dive into Louise's solo stuff as much as the other two did, but it was cool to see how much that Rachel had in her Wrapped. So, and I listened to it a bit. I'm just not like super into it. I didn't like study it. So I definitely give a nod of approval there. The DL award, the song that is the most DL-ish amongst all of our Spotify Wraps. I don't know if I was supposed to weigh in across all three Wrap playlists or just look at his, but I tried to weigh these next few awards across all of the playlists just because. And for him, I gave a 3-way tie to Muse, Circuitry of the Wolf, Idol's Dancer, and a song that he gave to us for a Break It Down, which is Foxy Shazam's Oh Lord. I think if you threw those 3 songs into a little playlist and then started a Spotify radio station on it, you'd get a lot of DL in that playlist. Give that a whirl. Let him know what you think, because that is some very DL stuff going on there. And then Rachel, it's just Taylor Swift. I didn't pick a song because they're pretty much all the same song. It's just Taylor Swift. I mean, she is... in the film They Live, where he points and opens his mouth and screeches, I feel like that is that... I'm not even talking about that's Body Snatchers. It's not They Live. Scrap that whole reference because I ruined it all, which kind of makes sense when you're talking about Taylor Swift. So there it is. Taylor Swift, Rachel's award. The Rachel award is Taylor Swift. I'm going to drink some more of this scotch real quick. Now for me, I don't feel it's fair to give myself the most evil song award to anything on my playlist because I'm horribly biased. I'm really more curious into what the other two pick for me. If I were to pick the song for myself, I already mentioned it. It's Unearth's Into the Abyss. I mean, that is the track that will play as I ride a fire-breathing dragon into battle to save the universe from all the dark forces. So I can't pat myself on the back too much. I'm getting old. My shoulders, I'd have to warm them up a little bit before I tried such things. I'm curious what those two are going to pick for me. And then finally, to wrap up this Wrapped discussion, me chattering away into the microphone, botching my They Live Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That was going to be such a cool reference, and then I completely fucked it up. I'm going to drink again for that. Anyway, I'm going to finish this up with the Leonardo DiCaprio point in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood award, where he's like sees the TV screen and points, and this is the oh yeah kind of feeling. And as much as I wanted to give DL credit for not having one but multiple, I think there were at least 3 Outcast tracks from Stankonia on his Wrapped, and multiple Gojira tracks as well. As much as I want to give him credit, I have to give Rachel the nod here for Louis Armstrong's La Vie en Rose. That just beats everything out. I love Louis Armstrong. His rendition of La Vie en Rose is just fucking fantastic. And it kind of stuck out in her playlist. I'm like, why is this here? Apparently Rachel's more cool than I give her credit for. So yeah, good for her. That is, that's the Leonardo DiCaprio point in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. DL named this award just to fuck with us because he knew it was going to be us stumbling over our stupid tongues trying to say it at the end of our recordings award, which I think is the official title for it next season. That's what I got for you guys. Love you all. Tune in for season 5 coming up, and I don't know how many of these we've got in between now and then, but I think it's a couple more. Maybe next year he won't make us do these stupid episodes because they're painful. Bye, everybody.
Hey friends, Rachel here. I am just really enjoying my break, but what way to celebrate a little bit of time off by doing a little work. So I'm here to talk to you about our Spotify for this year. What did we love? What did we hate? Are we surprised by our lists? Let's just dive right into it. First, I'm going to go over my list, my top songs of 2024. There wasn't a ton that I was terribly surprised about being on here outside of, I don't think that this is an entirely accurate, I know it's all supposed to be data, but I do not think this is an accurate depiction of what happened throughout 12 months. I feel like maybe they gathered a little bit of information from a select few months and put it in here because there's some stuff that I listened to maybe around springtime heavily in like a month or a couple weeks time, but not at all during the rest of the year. And some stuff that I really, really dug into that I am surprised is not on here. Some stuff that I am very surprised that made the list is most of Mew. Like there's so much Mew on here. And we did cover some of that on the podcast. However, I'm not a big studier. Nobody's surprised by that. So I study, I get it done. It's a week of listening to the music, really, maybe 2 weeks tops. And so having Mew on here, I know I didn't listen to any of the songs more than 2 or 3 times. And there's some songs that I listened to obsessively that did not make the list, which is kind of surprising. A lot of Taylor Swift stuff that I am surprised did not make it. And a lot of Taylor Swift stuff on here that I am insanely surprised made it. There's a lot of stuff on here that was on the Tortured Poets album. I listened to that maybe, we covered it one time in one of our What Did We Miss episodes, Quickfire, I don't remember which one it was. And so I did listen to it a little bit for that, but I only listened to the album fully one time at a listening party. It wasn't something that I super fell in love with. And so, I throughout the year where I did listen to a lot of Taylor Swift, I more so lingered on her old work and not really too much on this. There are a couple songs on here that I just listened to one time tops by Taylor Swift, but Daddy, I Love Him That song is hilarious, but I did not listen to it enough times for it to appear on this list. Same thing with I Can Do It With a Broken Heart is on here. So Long London. I do not like that song very much at all, especially in comparison to some of the other work she has. I will spend my time listening to other stuff instead of that song. It should not be on this list. I am very surprised it's on this list. At one point during the year, me and David had Louise Post on. So prior to David's interview with Louise Post, we covered Veruca Salt and we covered Louise Post's new album. I enjoyed that album. Again, this is something that I love Louise Post. If you're listening, I'm sorry. I listened to this album a handful of times, maybe 2 or 3 times to study, and then did not go back to it. I did feel the nostalgia and go back to a lot of Veruca Salt, but not this newer Louise Post. So the fact that there are a handful of songs from that album, Killer, All Messed Up is on here, that is a little surprising to me. Again, I don't think they gathered a collaborative, like the entire year of stuff and really, divide by 12 or whatever. So a couple things that I'm surprised. As far as am I ashamed of? I always say no, but there is stuff on here that the boys make fun of me for. So I guess maybe I'm more embarrassed in front of them because of things. I feel like sometimes I don't necessarily speak my mind on how much I do love pop music because they make fun of me, and sometimes I don't know how to fight back. So some stuff on here that they will make fun of. Again, Taylor Swift being on here. Sarah Bareilles had a moment this year with me, and so She Used to Be Mine. I love that song, and I listened to it repeatedly for a couple months, so I'm not surprised that one hit up on here. There's a lot of cool stuff on here, so I'm kind of surprised. I think probably Espresso. Sabrina Carpenter is on here. They would make fun of me for that, so we'll put that one in there. Chappell Roan. I'm kind of surprised that she made it on here as much as she did. Again, love her, love the pop music. I don't know that I listened to her enough throughout the year to justify her making the list. Some stuff, again, that I'm a little surprised that hit on there. Soundgarden, again, we covered all of Soundgarden, everything that they have, but I don't think I listened to them really outside of my study time. So the fact that they're on here is a little weird. I'm not ashamed of that. I don't know why I'm not ashamed of that. So that's not a thing. I guess that maybe if I was to be embarrassed about anything or ashamed of anything, maybe the lack of variety. There is some good stuff on here. There's a little bit of variety, but a lot of there's a lot of girly pop, and there's a lot of pop on here. There's not a huge amount of variety. There's a lot of top 40 hits on here, and I wish that there was more variety on here, but I do have a couple artists that I just go back to, and there's, you just feel safe sometimes. You have your comfort background music, and I feel like probably at least 50% of this is comfort background music, and I wish I would have jumped out of my comfort zone a little bit more. So I'm probably ashamed of that, if anything. The Megaphone Award, which one of these songs would I like to tell the world about? Out of all the songs on my list, a band, maybe not necessarily the song, but a band that someone needs to know about is San Fermin. We've talked about them a little bit on the podcast. We met with them at Treefort, and they are just a group of amazingly talented musicians. And if I was to shout from the rooftops, anyone that needs to be listened to, it is San Fermin, because they are just amazing and need all of the listeners and all of the love because they work so hard. And I really think that they deserve attention and all of the money you can throw at them so they can quit their day jobs and just make music. This is why I hate the podcast award. A song that would never be on my list if it wasn't for the pod. Again, circling back, it would be everything from Mew on here. They were fine to study for. As far as I'm never going back to that. I don't think I will ever go back to Mew on my own without being told to do that by David. Down Lifer on here. I don't know why this is on here. Again, there's some stuff on here that is just real fucking surprising, and I tried to delete off of this list, but for some reason. Why can't I delete it? Why can't I alter this list? But it is the way it is. Yeah, a Mew, Lifer, those ones would not be on there. And on my saved list, it would be deleted. Also, Corrosion of Conformity, I'm Sorry Evil, Albatross. That is not something that I'm going to put on repeat or put on a playlist for me to listen to ever again. That's enough about me. Let's talk about my two best friends, David and Evil, once I get to their playlists. Let's start with Evil's playlist. Anything that surprised me on his playlist, friends, I'm sure that these are all available to the public. This is Evil to the T, Unearth, As I Lay Dying. It is just angry, evil music that he loves to swing around kettlebells to. This is Evil. There's not a lot on here that is not stuff that I would assume that he listened to every single day. Something that I love that he's got on here is some Stone Temple Pilots. We went over that, every single album they had, and then some deep dives into them. And I love that that's on here. I had a really good time with the 94 stuff. Our Lady Peace as well on here. But yeah, Health, Opeth, Unearth, AC/DC. I'm a little surprised there's not more Van Halen. I feel like maybe he's moving away from his love from Van Halen, and that makes me a little sad. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe he's going through some stuff that we don't know about. Oh, Come On Man Award. Is there anything high up they should be ashamed of? High up on the list? No. I mean, it's like I said, this list is pretty much Evil to a T. I can't see anything. I think there's some stuff on here that he would maybe not have had on here if it weren't for the podcast, but there's no Sabrina Carpenter on here that snuck in on anything. There's nothing that I think he would be embarrassed about. Nicki Minaj, just kidding, friends. Are You Gone Already by Nicki Minaj? He's 1,000% embarrassed that that's on there. It is third from the bottom. Yeah, no way that he wants that on there. And that is definitely deleted off of his saved playlist. That is also going to be his Why They Hate the Podcast song. The fact that he had to listen to that and waste those hours of his life. He's getting old. He doesn't have a lot of time left. I'm sure that he is not excited that he listened to any bit of that Pink Friday 2 album. Not an Approval Award, a song you didn't really know that's rad in their mix. I don't think there's anything in here that I love. There is The Warning hit up on this list. I love The Warning, Sick. That was great. And 6 Feet Deep hit there as well. So if anything, not an approval, I would say the fact that The Warning is on there makes me really happy. And again, the Stone Temple Pilots being on there makes me happy. The song that is the most Evil song on Evil's playlist, I mean, it's just really anything by Unearth. I feel like he really dug in to that this year. And that way, that is the most Evil there is. Quick look at David's stuff. Something that surprised me on his playlist, he's our boss. He writes our outlines. He picks things that we're going to listen to for the most part. Me and Evil are just along for the ride. It's David's circus and we are his monkeys. So there's not really anything on here that I think that he didn't want to listen to or was forced to listen to. Really, I mean, there's always stuff in the quick fires and the what did we miss episodes that are stuff, tends to be stuff maybe that he wouldn't listen to normally, but none of that really made that on the list that I can see. This is all stuff that he likes or would listen to again. There's Mannequin Pussy. I know that he liked them a little bit. I don't know if that's stuff that he would super listen to.
I just want you all to know how much I go through trying to pick the albums of the year. My number 5 is Mannequin Pussy's I Got Heaven.
So that's maybe the only thing that I'm kind of surprised about, but really not even that surprised because he likes them. Anything that he should be ashamed of, I would say he's probably ashamed of none of this. This playlist is, David's playlist is so diverse. It is amazing. He's got Zach Bryan, Blues Travelers, Alt J. He's got some Run the Jewels on here. He's got Gojira, Stone Temple, Foxy Shazam. It is a really, really good variety. If I was to pick any of the 3 of our playlists that you should listen to, hands down, it would be David's. David's is the most diverse of all of ours. And it is, don't tell him I told you this. David has really good taste in music. He is a man who appreciates music so much and listens to it, every hour of every day. And you can really see that with his playlist. There is great music and a great variety of music in there. The DL Award, the song on his, what's the most DL song that's on here? I mean, Gojira's on here. I would say Gojira maybe is what he loves the most. I don't know, David. I don't think I know you at all. Sometimes I think I do, and then sometimes I don't. I'm going to say Another World, but I'm not sure. I know he loves Gojira. The song that is most me on my playlist now, I don't think I talked about that one just a second ago. Let's find my playlist again. Good God, Rachel, what do you do with your life? The most me on this playlist, there are a handful of songs on this that I just listen to repeatedly. And my top 3, because I don't want to choose one, that I just played over and over and sang to in my car, in my shower. She Used to Be Mine, Sarah Bareilles, Hey Driver, Zach Bryan, and How Far Will We Take It was Orville Peck and Noah Cyrus. Those were my top 3 songs this year. Hands down. Those are songs that I listen to over and over again. If I was to say that, whatever the boys picked for me for what's the most Rachel song, they're probably going to say like Espresso or Pink Pony Club, or something by Taylor Swift. The Leonardo DiCaprio Point in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood Award, the song ranking that most impresses you on their list. The song ranking that impresses me the most on their list. It sounds insulting to say nothing impresses me on Evil's list. I think nothing surprises me on Evil's list as far as ranking. I think the one that makes me the most happy that is on David's list as far as ranking, about 10 down, 9 down. 9 down, we have Sleep to Dream by Fiona Apple. And that just makes me the happiest girl in the entire world. I love Fiona Apple. She got a hit or 2 on my playlist. Not enough. I didn't love Fiona Apple enough this year. She deserves more time out of me than that. But as far as impresses me, I don't think that we went over Fiona Apple this year. And so I guess it impresses me that David listened to enough Fiona off, I think that was off Tidal, that it made his list, I guess. There you have it. I think that each of our playlists really speak to who we are as people. And if I was to say anything about my list, again, I wish that I had put a little bit more diversity in there. I do think that I have definitely grown over the last couple years being on this podcast and being forced to, sounds aggressive, but forced to by David to listen to other music, but really opening up to not just pop stuff that I hear on the radio, but also new releases that I wouldn't have run into, and then just classic albums and 10 out of 10s that David and Evil love that I wouldn't have come across. As far as Evil's list and David's lists, if you love Evil, you will love his playlist so much. It speaks very much to who he is as a person and what he does. If you're going to listen to any of the playlists, start with David's. It's a wide variety of stuff, and it just shows really what you can make of yourself in a year if you open yourself up to a bunch of different music that you wouldn't normally open yourself up to. See ya on the next little piece of off-season stuff that we do. Okay, miss you guys.
That's it, everybody. That's it for the pod. Join us next week. Guess what? Evil, Rachel, and I are together, and we have nothing to do. We are just going to hang out. We are going to put in the reps, get an hour in there. Remember why we like each other and why we hate each other. It's going to be fun. firstcoursefirst.com, at firstcoursefirstpod. Join us next week. We love you. Get ready for season 5. Only a couple more episodes to go. Good night and good luck.